More than 2,300 years ago, in ancient India, a baby boy was born in a small, poor village. His father's name was Chanakya and his mother's name was Chaneshwari. They were not rich or powerful people. They were simple, humble, and educated Brahmins who believed deeply in the value of knowledge. When the baby was born, an astrologer came to see the child. He looked at the baby carefully and noticed something very unusual. The baby had been born with a full set of teeth. In ancient Indian tradition, this was a very rare and powerful sign. The astrologer turned to the father and said, "Chanakji, your son has the teeth of a king. This child is destined for greatness. He will one day sit on the throne of a great empire." The father looked at his tiny baby boy with both joy and worry in his heart. He was a simple man and he understood how dangerous the world of kings and power could be. He had seen how enemies destroyed entire families just to protect a throne. So Chanakya made a painful but wise decision. He picked up a small stone and broke his son's front teeth. He removed the sign of royalty from his child to protect him from the dangers that came with it. Then he whispered softly, "My son will not sit on a throne. But he will be greater than any king who ever lived. He will be the man who creates kings." And so the boy was named Vishnugupta. But the world would later know him by two other famous names. He was called Kautilya, which means the one who thinks in clever and unexpected ways. And he was called Chanakya, the son of Chanakya. This is the story of that boy. From the very beginning, Chanakya was not like other children of his age. While other children played outside and enjoyed simple games, little Chanakya sat beside his father every evening asking questions. He asked why kings went to war. He asked why some people were rich and others were poor. He asked what truly made a kingdom strong and peaceful. These were not ordinary questions for a child. They were the questions of someone who was born to understand the world deeply. His father Chanakya was himself a learned man, and he taught Chanakya everything he knew. From a very young age, Chanakya learned the Vedas, Sanskrit, mathematics, philosophy, and the basics of political science. He absorbed every lesson quickly and always wanted to learn more. But Chanakya was not just a student who read books. He was also very observant of the world around him. He watched merchants in the marketplace and understood how trade and economics worked. He watched soldiers train and understood the art of warfare. He watched people argue and fight, and from that he understood human nature and psychology. Even as a young boy, he had one strong belief that stayed with him throughout his entire life. He believed that knowledge was the most powerful weapon a person could ever possess. When Chanakya was old enough, his father sent him to study at the most famous place of learning in the entire ancient world. That place was Takshashila University. Today this location falls in modern-day Pakistan, but in those ancient times it was the greatest center of knowledge anywhere on earth. Students traveled from China, Greece, Persia, and every corner of India just to study there. More than 10,000 students lived and learned at Takshashila at any given time. The subjects taught there included medicine, law, military science, astronomy, agriculture, philosophy, economics, and the art of governance and leadership. When young Chanakya arrived at Takshashila, he had very little money. He wore simple clothes and had no wealthy family connections or royal backing. But he carried something far more valuable than money or status. He carried a mind that never stopped working and a hunger for knowledge that could never be fully satisfied. He studied harder than anyone else around him. He slept less, read more, questioned everything, and debated fearlessly with even his most senior teachers. His professors very quickly realized that this quiet, thin, simply dressed boy was someone truly extraordinary. Within a few years, Chanakya did not just remain a student at Takshashila. He became a teacher there. The poor boy from a small village was now standing in front of classrooms at the greatest university in the world, teaching political science and economics to students from across the globe. He taught his students many things, but one lesson stood above all others. He told them that a king is not great because of his crown. A king is great because of the wise people who advise him. And an advisor is only truly great when his knowledge is used to serve the people. Chanakya was brilliant, but he was not an easy person to be around. He was extremely blunt and always said exactly what he thought without worrying about other people's feelings. He was completely fearless and would argue and debate with anyone, including people far more powerful than himself. Ancient texts describe his physical appearance as thin and plain, with broken teeth and an ordinary look that would not make him stand out in any crowd. He was not the kind of person you would notice the moment he walked into a room. But the moment he opened his mouth and began to speak, everything changed. Every single person in the room would stop and listen. His words were sharp, clear, and full of a wisdom that was difficult to argue against. He had absolutely no patience for stupidity, arrogance, or injustice of any kind. He believed that the world could be made better through careful thinking, strong planning, and honest leadership. And this fearless, uncompromising personality that he carried within him would very soon bring him face to face with the most powerful king in all of India. But that is a story for the next episode. Friends, before we close this story today, let us take a moment to understand what the early life of Chanakya teaches us. The first and most important message is that your background does not define your destiny. Chanakya was born into a poor family with no wealth, no connections, and no royal support. But he never used that as an excuse to stop moving forward. He simply focused on what he could do and kept going. In today's world, many of us look at our circumstances and feel that we have been given less than others. We say we did not get the right opportunities or that life was not fair to us. Chanakya's life reminds us that the world does not remember where you came from. It only remembers what you did with what you had. Before we go, remember these powerful words by Chanakya. The biggest guru mantra is never share your secrets with anybody. It will destroy you. Friends, Chanakya built an entire empire not with weapons or money but with the power of his mind and the wisdom of his words. And today you have taken the first step in understanding that wisdom. If this story touched your heart, please give this video a like, share it with someone who needs inspiration today, and subscribe to this channel so you never miss a single episode of the Chanakya. We will see you in the next episode where Chanakya walks into the most powerful court in India full of hope and walks out with fire in his eyes and revenge in his heart. Next episode, the humiliation that changed history. See you there.